Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's interview. Today I'm talking to Steve Wilson. He is the co founder and PR director of Save The Speedway, an organization set up to save and preserve historic North Wilkesboro Speedway. Steve, how are you doing today?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing very, very well. Um, I guess we can go ahead and jump into it. To get started, for the fans like myself who got into the sport after NASCAR had stopped visiting North Wilkesboro Speedway, tell us a little bit about the track and what made it so special.
Well, the track itself predates NASCAR. It was built in 1947. Um, it even it even predates the last remaining track from the original schedule in 1949, Martinsville Speedway, which we still run at today. This is a track that had over 50 years of history into it, crowning the very first NASCAR champion in 1949. No other track in the country or even world can say that.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout its history, it's been home to funny things that have happened in the 70s with worms that covered the surface and delayed the race for months on end. The tire wars in the 1980s with between Hoosier and Goodyear finally winning their first NASCAR victory on the short track there at North Wilkesboro Speedway in 1989 with Dale Earnhardt Sr. And I think it kind of pushed the boundaries of what we see with electronic scoring today in 1987 when there was a controversy there between Brett Bodine and Darrell Waltrip, who had pitted off sequence, and the caution came out.
Mm-hmm.
The pace car driver picked up the wrong driver, and Brett Bodine would end up going on for the win. Funny enough, Brett himself would go on to work for NASCAR later on as a pace car driver, and I think it just kind of hastened the advent of the electronic scoring that we use today.
Mm-hmm.
And since '96, when Jeff Gordon, a relatively newcomer to the circuit at that time, won on that track, I don't think anybody kind of knew what was to come of Jeff Gordon over the preceding years. But that story has kind of written itself, and there's just so many stories from North Wilkesboro Speedway over its 50-plus year history, and it's what makes it unique and alluring to people.
So the last race was in 1996. What was the catalyst for your organization to get involved in trying to save the Speedway?
Well, since '96, there had been other groups involved. There had been informal questions or questions into what they could do to save the track, local government, private citizens there in Wilkes County had all approached the question on what needed to be done or what could be done. We kind of, as a group, got involved around 2005, 2006 to kind of build upon that because some of those things kind of fizzled out. And I don't think there was much direction, to be honest with you, as to what people wanted to do. I think there was a lot of differing opinions. So we just kind of came together as a group, including some of the people that had originally struck out, private citizens within Wilkes County, to see what could be done. And we as a group just felt that if we could get some direction to this, maybe answer some of the questions that people had in the back of their mind, what it would take to get back for reopening. Cost-wise, things that would need to be done to the speedway, and even if you were able to get the track renovated, who would even run there?
Mm-hmm.
And those are some of the questions that we sought out to answer at that time.
So some people have brought up the idea of having a museum at the track, and of course, with any racetrack, your goal is you want to have race cars on the track. But would having a museum at the track work? Why or why not?
Well, this is where I kind of equated to the legs on a chair. If you have a single leg on the chair, it falls over. It can't balance itself. If you add another leg and another leg until you have 4 legs onto it until finally it can support itself without outside help. The museum concept is kind of the same way. It has to be one leg on that chair. The museums across America, they already struggle as it is, both the public and private funding. Now with the coronavirus, it's even worse in some regards. So it's kind of the same way with North Wilkesboro, is that it was just purely a museum that couldn't support itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the overarching goal would have to be for the track to be a multi-purpose facility, meaning that the museum would have to be one leg on that chair, racing would be another leg on the chair, concerts, festivals, car shows, etc. These things would generate reoccurring income throughout the year, so you're not solely dependent on one source of revenue, which would allow the track to be more self-sustaining.
Gotcha. So in the past few years, it's become very popular for people to break into the speedway and take pictures or explore. I know it's common sense to tell people, "Hey, don't break into private property." But what would you say to those fans who would reply with, "Well, what's the big deal?" Or, "I'm just trying to get a piece of history," or whatever?
I know we hear from a lot of people all the time. There's people that have went there as kids or grandparents or whatever. They just want to go back and relive some of those memories. And while a good vast majority of people are well-intentioned on what they want to go out there for, it's always the small minority of people that go out there and create havoc, such as break-ins, tearing up property, fires that have occurred out there over the years. As these things continue to deteriorate, as people continue to tear the place up, it becomes unsafe for people to go in there. It's no secret that there are buildings in there that are falling down. They've been falling down for the better part of 20, 25 years since the track closed in '96. For people to go in there, they're taking on a liability that they don't need to. And our goal is to try and keep people out there because maybe one day the owners just see this and say, well, it's not worth the people breaking in anymore. We're going to have to do something different, and maybe that means tearing the place down. I mean, there are owners too at the same time, and we should respect their property, just as you don't want somebody just breezing into your house, unannounced, hanging out, looking through your stuff. It's kind of the same concept there, so it's kind of that twofold, that the private property and also the safety issue at the same time. And third, we're trying to preserve the track in some degree. And the more that it's tore up, the more that people break in, that means that's money that would have to be spent should the track find a way to reopen in the future.
I know also y'all talk a lot about not bothering the caretaker there, because a lot of people say, hey, just go find the caretaker and he'll let you in or whatever. And I remember you telling me stories about people coming in all hours of the night trying to get into the speedway.
Yeah, the caretaker, he's been there since the 60s, and before really the advent of social media and the internet, it really wasn't popularly known that the caretaker, who the caretaker was, where they lived, the name, and so forth. So you had to know somebody that knew the caretaker or knew the process to get in, and now everybody just kind of freely disseminates that information across the internet and social media. Just saying, hey, go talk to the caretaker, he'll let you in, and he is an employee of the track. He's the last remaining employee of the track. So you have to think of him as the guy that stands outside, the guard that stands outside the bank. His job is to make sure that the track is, kind of, and not being broken into, but at the same time, don't go out there and just nag him and say, well, I just want to come in.
Yeah.
He's kind of that guard from the outside. And yes, people go there all times of day, weekends, nights. They don't care. They just knock on the door and say, hey, let me in. And then they get mad because the caretaker says, no, I'm not going to let you in. And, again, it's that private property kind of thing to respect out there, not only him, but the property itself.
Yeah, and I know for a while I was one of those people where when I found out, oh, you can go to the track, oh, you just go talk to that guy, and I thought, man, that's cool because I love NASCAR. I'm one of those people that's fascinated with abandoned places, and like y'all's like Twitter account was one of the people that kind of put it into perspective where no, this isn't just like this is private property. You might get the caretaker in trouble. Even for me wandering around, it's like the last thing I want to do is have a building fall on me or something like that. So it was nice to have it explained to me through y'all's Twitter channels. So I can attest firsthand um, that y'all do a good job of getting to explain to people why it's a bad idea to do that.
Yeah, we're not trying to shame anybody into it. I know that there's a ton of people out there that love the history of the sport, love NASCAR. There's people, like I said, that weren't even born in '96, but they see this thing on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
They see somebody else has been out there on social media, and they say, hey, this is a really cool place. I want to go check it out. I want to find out about the history of it. And that's all great and fine. We don't see any problems with that. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
over time, it becomes the problem. Is that when the guy has to go out there and his doors being knocked on all times of day and night, and he doesn't have any peace. I mean, it's we gotta have to respect that at the same time. And
Mm-hmm.
we always say we're glad to answer whatever questions. There's thousands of videos on YouTube. There's thousands of pictures out there that spread across the internet. We're glad to answer questions. We're glad to point you in the right directions with the resources. But yeah, it's trying to just go in all times of day and night is kind of it's a respect factor.
Mm-hmm. With Dale Jr.'s recent cleanup and North Wilkesboro on iRacing, in fact, this weekend being featured for the Pro Invitational Series, is there a renewed optimism for the future of the track in your mind?
Well, I think we've turned the tide. Honestly, I think it goes back a little bit beyond this, and Dale Jr. cleaning the track up in December. There's the last year and a half or so, it's really been a renewed optimism within the county.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people working cohesively between the county government and the towns and the private citizens out there that they realize that they have to work together, and by working together they can accomplish the goal of the track. And all these little things that kind of pop up like this, like Dale back in December in the Pro Invitational Series this weekend on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of bumps that up a little bit more to say, there are people out there that still care, and by doing this, it really helps the cause out. I think it shows that there is a passion for people to come to that track. There are series that will come back. There's people that will come back. There's local businesses and government that are willing to help out. And all these things, it's kind of like the perfect storm all happening at the same time. And, it's really helpful that these things are continuing to be remembered, and it only just reinforces that commitment that people have now in Wilkes County to try and get something done.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really appreciate you taking some time to talk to me about the track and all of that. For the people at home listening, if they want to learn more about the tracker and your organization, where can they find you at online?
You can find us on our Facebook page. Just search us out on Save The Speedway. You can also find us on Twitter at Save The Speedway.
All right. Thank you very much, Steve.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.